Kia ora from Aotearoa. It's Poppy speaking, and I'm talking about the current Mayan energies and the global scene and what's going on with humanity as we evolve. So we're coming into the energy of 10 Sun very soon, and that will be the last day of a 9-day phase in 2 road, where there's this clear divergence of paths. So we have a path that's going with nature and returning to nature, and that's quite a journey because we've really left nature and creator, and we have to learn how to realign again. And the other one is where people are going down the road of technology, and a kind of a transhumanism agenda. So this was all prophesied by the Hopi, that these 2 roads would become very clear at this time, and that it's really imperative that we return to nature. And I'm not saying that everyone is infected by transhumanism who's taken the medicine, because there's been a lot of coercion, there's been a lot of blackmail, and I do believe that it's possible for everybody to actually return and align, and it's only by the miracles through creation and creator that we get ourselves free from our current situation. So we're still finishing off the energy of 9 Storm at the moment, where we have the opportunity to close down cycles and start new ones. And so Storm has a lot to do with our psyche, our psychology, our neural pathways, the lightning striking within the body and changing our belief system. And it's quite an emotional one. It's the lightning strike. And here in my country, commonly known as New Zealand, people are feeling like a lightning has struck, and they're rooking and reeling from terrible police brutality for the protesters in Wellington, who have actually been standing in solidarity and peace, and then looking at what appears to have happened from the reports on the ground from the people, that the police may not even be New Zealand police. Earlier on, New Zealand police were coming over and not wanting to actually harm protesters. So it's a strategy to bring people out, and then there's also other reports that there were agent provocateurs in the crowd that were throwing things on the fires that may or may not have been started by the police in the first place. But what can happen is that when we go into shock or trauma, when our adrenals get pumped, when we start to feel rage, when we start to feel injustice, when we start to feel the pain of it all, it can actually throw us out. And we'll know if we're thrown out, and this was a big revelation to me this morning, because we can fall out of love with ourselves. Now, if we have fallen out of love with ourselves, it means that we are not directly in the embrace of our cosmic parents, Ranginui, Father Sky, or Papatūānuku, Mother Earth. We're not centered and aligned. We've been thrown out. We've been thrown a bit sideways. We've been triggered. We're not quite ourselves again. We can't comprehend what has happened. There may be rage, there may be hatred, there may be things that are unlike love that come up, and they're coming up for us to heal within our own psyches. So the chaos that we are experiencing is because the humans in our world, including us, each one of us, we've been used to living by our own will, making our own choices, our own decisions, doing what gives us comfort, following our own careers, doing all of these things that we've been programmed to do. And now we're at a time when we need to reconnect and follow the way of divine will. And it's the only way that we're going to get ourselves out of this mess, because we do not know the whole picture. We do not see everything. I'm sorry about the shaking. I just wanted to capture the sun today because we're coming into 10 sun. 10 is, you know, quite challenging energy. So challenging things can come up that can maybe block our enlightenment, and we have to reconnect and get ourselves realigned so that we are open into the spiritual alignment that is available to us again. Okay, so lots of emotions will be stirred up, and the problem is the reaction. Are we reacting out of our own will, or are we reacting, or are we responding to the enlightenment that we can receive within divine will by being fully connected with our cosmic parents, by being one with Creator, by being one with creation. I'm just needing to get here and sit down on the grass and just be out in nature again, to regroup after seeing an assault. And you know, there's people that we know in those crowds. Someone I know was shot with a rubber bullet, and fortunately it landed on his cell phone and smashed that and not him instead. So the tools, the mainstream media is still trying to hold everything. Things get created by the governments to make everything appear a certain way, to keep those that have been programmed by the mainstream media, which is their tool for their psychological operations, to be that way. Now, which world are we going on? So we have a choice. We can turn our focus to nature, to realign ourselves, to be one with earth and sky, to follow the divine guidance that we are given, how to be and what to do. And we're going to need it more and more. It's not like the situation's going to get any easier, quicker. It may not. We may be challenged. We may lose all those ways where we were supported by a commerce system for our survival. And I am in touch with people who have solutions. And those solutions will come. They will come through us. We're at the final day of 6th night, that DAYWAVE, where we dream the dreams of the solutions that our cosmic parents desire for us, because they are the creators, they are the source energies. And it's like, in some ways, I mean, we all have a different concept of what creator is. Some people call it God, some people call it Allah. But without a doubt, our beautiful Earth Mother is the one that is going through this big change at the moment with the rising frequencies. And so we are here rising up with her and having to return to her ways so that we can be back in harmony and balance, because the ways of control, the globalists and all of that have a different agenda, and it's a path of descension, not a path of ascension. Many souls choose that path. They're not ready to rise up in frequency, and that's fine. It's actually all part of a divine process and a divine path, and we've been here before. So I'm just really encouraging everybody, and myself as I speak, because I have to do it myself too. I need to realign and be grounded. Shocks and traumas from different things sideswept me, and this is a common thing. And I sort of like was breathing into it today, and it says, you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. And I couldn't think of anything that I had done wrong. And then it was pointed out to me, I had sidestepped away from being in alignment with our cosmic parents. I wasn't centered in between. Frights had activated my adrenals, and I had sidestepped, and I've had to bring myself back. And this is something that we're all going to have to do, and that we all need to focus on, so that we are aligned, and that enlightenment that comes through our crown chakra is there and accessible. We have to be like a hollow reed to be completely aligned. And so let's do it. Oh, look, all the little animals here playing around. I've got another one here who's see, look at them, they're not concerned, they're not worried, they don't hold hatred and rage at what's going on. They're holding space. They're intelligent beings. And there's a dragonfly going around there, a beautiful sun, the wind in the trees. Come back to nature, everyone. This is what we need to do, and we may just have to let government do its thing a little bit while we regroup. It's really important that we regroup and we stay centered whenever we get triggered or whether there's a shock or an awe. And there's a lot of warring energy around at the moment. And so stay aligned, stay safe, stay in support of one another, stay peaceful. I admire the protesters. You've done an amazing job of staying peaceful in, you know, while being assaulted. And don't give up hope. Let's make sure that all our actions are within the will of creation now. It's the final day in 10 sun of that DAYWAVE 112 of 6 night, and where we can dream the dream of our cosmic parents for our solutions. And it's also the final day of the 9-day phase of 2 roads, which the 2 road where it's becoming more and more apparent that we are diverging on different paths. And so all in love, all in oneness, all is embraced within the loving embrace of our cosmic parents. There is no judgment, only love and acceptance. So come back to being in love with yourself. And when you are in love with yourself, there is no more hatred, there is no more rage. There could be surrender, but one thing is that we are aligned. We are aligned with creation. We are aligned with the Creator. We are one. Blessings upon you. I love you so much. Take care.